Hello there everybody, Sam's Trains here, welcome back to the railway and welcome back to another Hornby diesel review. So, I say diesel, but today's loco is actually an electro diesel, which means it can just run as a normal diesel. It has electric motors, and of course it can generate its own power from sort of diesel generators, which is where the diesel comes from, but they could also pick up power from the third rail, which is where the electro part comes from, of course. So yeah, this is quite an old model that I'm looking at today. It used to be one that was produced by Lima, but obviously since Hornby sort of acquired Lima, they've continued to produce it for several years, and it is this, the Class 73. Now, as you can see, this is not the latest version. I think the latest version has got the railroad packaging. Yeah, that's right. But I think it's exactly the same model. Now, you can see that I got this for a sale price of £40, which I was very, very happy about. But what I didn't realise is that I could have bought the brand new sort of, yeah, this was second hand, but I could have bought the brand new railroad version for only, well, less than £20 more. I think £59 they've got this for. So I've kind of taken one for the team there. I think if I had have known that I could have got the brand new version for just £20 more, I would have done it. But hey, you guys don't have to miss out on that, so I've included a little link in the description there, so click on that if you want to check it out. To be honest with you, it's an inexpensive diesel that looks great and runs great, and it's also not too fragile, so yeah, I can highly recommend these. So this is the same model as the railroad version. As far as I can tell, it's just got the slightly older Hornby Railways packaging. At least nowadays they they sell it for what it is, a railroad model. So let's take a look at this, the Hornby Class 73, and I really do like the livery on this one. Okay, let's take a quick look at the packaging then, and then we'll get this out. So really, I think this kind of packaging is obsolete now. They don't do this sort of box with the window in the front here anymore. It's normally either the railroad packaging or the railways packaging with the sleeve over the top. But no, I suppose this brings back memories of sort of 10 years ago or something like that. So anyway, you've just got the diagram of the loco in the front there, as you can see. It doesn't give very much away, of course, about the particular livery that this one's in, but I'm quite a fan of it, I must say. On the end of the box here, you can see the R number here is R2517. It's a BR Bobo diesel electric Class 73 locomotive, and at least we've got the running number there, which is E6003. Very nice there. So I'm going to rip off this price tag here. It says mint DCC ready. It used to be £49, I got it for 40. So it is a good price. I mean, it is a good price, but obviously it's not brand new, but it is in mint condition, as the little post-it there said. Okay, so I'm going to just undo this end of the box, I reckon. Probably be better to open the other end actually, but it doesn't matter too much. And we will take this out. So there we have it. It's just a sleeve, as you can see. Nothing much to see there. Then we have the operating and maintenance instructions, presumably. Let's see. Yeah, for the Class 73. So yeah, there it is. And let's see what's inside. Okay, very, very sparse this one. It just shows you a little bit about lubrication. It only tells you to lubricate the axles. Then it's just body removal and fitting your DCC decoder. Yes, this is a DCC ready model, which is quite nice. So yeah, not much to see there at all, but worth holding on to, I suppose. Detail pack wise, it is, well, it's hardly even a detail pack. Hornby used to include these little sleeves that you could put a DCC decoder inside. They're always about 6 times bigger than you need them. You'd only use a little sliver of it. And to be honest, there are better things to use. I used to use just some heat shrink. But yeah, they don't tend to ship these anymore. I suppose they've realised that they're useless too. But I don't know, did you ever use these? Let me know in the comments. Right, let's take a look at the loco then. If I just pull the tissue back, you get to see what I mean about the livery on this. Now that is such an unusual livery, isn't it? It's quite, I don't know, it's quite old-fashioned, I would say. I do have one of these in the Pullman livery, which I will show you later on, but that is the Lima version. But no, it's sort of very, very light green. It seems a lot lighter than you would normally expect BR green to be, so I don't really know the exact name for this livery, but it is quite attractive, isn't it? Okay, let's try and get this out then. I'm not sure if there are holes in the back. Yes, there are, so I can just push this out. And for 40 quid, I mean, come on, this is pretty nice. I mean, it is a Lima model, it is quite an old model, but the detail on it is really quite good, as it used to be with Lima. And even for £59, and yeah, you can buy this for £59, absolutely brand new. It really is pretty good, isn't it? Great price. So yeah, be sure to click that link in the description and pick one of these up. I can't imagine they'll have these for long at that price. But yeah, okay, so it's good and heavy actually, really quite heavy. Just as heavy as some of my sort of Bachmann diesels really, even though of course this really isn't quite a patch on those. Let's feel some of these wheels. So this bogie here obviously is the non-driven bogie. So sadly we haven't got all-wheel drive, but I can see there are pickups on every single wheel there. And then it's this bogie here that's driven. And quite nicely, there is no traction tyres on this model, which is really quite nice. It means it might not be all that powerful, but at least it's relying on its weight and not some kind of horrible rubber tyre to haul this thing along. So that's great. Anyway, here's a little bit of history on the Class 73, and after that I will take this up against the white background and I will show you this in a little more detail. Alright, let's get to it. So the Class 73 was introduced in 1962, and as I said earlier, it's actually an electro-diesel locomotive. It can either pick up power from the third rail, as on the Southern Railway, or it can generate its own power using the onboard diesel engine. The class were produced from 1962 until 1967, and 49 of them were built in total. Even though the class were very versatile, they were quickly outstripped by newer and more powerful engines, meaning that they were either rebuilt or completely withdrawn. There were also some safety issues with the Class 2. The power pickups on the two bogies were not electrically isolated from each other, which caused problems when the locomotive entered a new section of track powered by a different substation. And this was actually known to cause fires. Because of the difference in voltage, I suppose there'd be huge sparks going up, and yes, it made quite a mess, I think, on a couple of occasions. I think I'll look that up later on and find out exactly what happened. Nonetheless, a handful of these do still survive in preservation. Okay, so there she is then up close for you, the Class 73 here in the extremely unusual, but very attractive, I think, sort of BR green. Very light green, as you can see. So I reckon this model is absolutely superb, to be honest with you. I'm not going to lie and say that this is kind of on the level of the Hornby Railways range, or, you know, anything like Helgen or Bachmann or anything like that. However, for, you know, £59 or £40, as I was lucky enough to find this for at the train fair, I mean, how can you go wrong? The detail on this thing is really quite good for that kind of money. It's not all just moulded detail. If we look at the ends here, you can see that there are separately fitted parts on each end here. I'm not absolutely sure what those are, but they are really quite fine-scaled parts, and they were on the original Lima model. So yeah, for the age, really quite impressive. The paintwork is very good as well. As you can see on the sides of the cabs there, you've got the running numbers very nicely printed, as well as what might be the builder's plate just under there. I can't actually read what that says, but maybe the camera will pick it up. But look at this, on the doors you've got these tiny little door handles which have been picked out with the paint, and of course the handrails have too on the side there. I mean, those are some quite incredible little details. There's lots and lots of grills which are quite convincing despite not having any real depth to them. So just behind the cabs here you've got those grills there which again look pretty good. The main grille on the side here, not absolutely sure what these are, I don't even know if it is the main grille, but as you can see, there's a real impression of depth there, even though in reality it is just a very thin body shell. But yeah, real impression of depth there, very nice. A lot of moulded detail too. If you look, as you can see on the bogies there, loads of detail going on there. None of it's painted or anything like that, but I think for the money that's fair enough. I don't even know if it's supposed to be painted, to be honest. But no, you can see all of the suspension springs and everything like that. And again, on the underframe of the loco, there's a whole host of different moulded details there which kind of bring it to life. As you can see, the main body of the roof is a slightly different colour. It's kind of like a dirty grey, almost a brown colour. But if we take a look at the fan here, again, really convincing. You wouldn't be able to tell really that there wasn't a real fan blade under there. But no, it is just a clever moulding technique. I think it is just a very flat body shell, as with before. And as you can see, lots more moulded details going on the roof there. And we even have these horns. I'm not 100% sure whether those are separately fitted. I suppose they might be, but again, quite nice little fine details, as you can see. Now the cab detail is even included on this model, and again, for a model that is so inexpensive, that is quite a nice thing to see. They're not hugely detailed cabs, as you can tell there, but there is some detail there. Hopefully I can pick that up on camera. And of course the windows have this lovely paintwork around them. We have the 1A code there. Unfortunately, this model didn't come with any extra codes to put into there. there. I don't know whether the new Railroad ones do. Maybe you guys know that. If you do have a Railroad one, the latest version, and it does come with any stickers to put in there, do let me know, because that would be quite interesting. And as you can see also on the windows there, we also have really quite effective looking windscreen wipers. I can't even tell whether those are separately fitted or not. I think they are just part of the window, but they really are quite convincing, so that's great. The buffer beams, again, look at the level of detail on here. I think it is all just moulded detail, but it has been separately painted, of course, in red, which makes it stand out. And the buffers are quite convincing too, although they're not sprung or anything like that. So, yeah, that's fair enough. So, yeah, I mean, it's not bad, is it? There's a lot of detail there. We've got glazed windows, a fair amount of separately fitted parts. All of the paintwork has been very, very nicely applied. I mean, look at this sort of white band at the bottom here. There's such a clean line where that has been applied, no messiness at all. And I forgot to mention as well, you've got the British Railways logo on there, which again is a really nice and finely detailed little print on there. It looks great, doesn't it? I mean, from a distance it really does look like a fantastic model. So, you know, I'll say it again, if you want a cheap diesel, or an electro diesel if we want to be technical about it, you're not going to do a lot better than this for the price. Really quite impressed with this. So, detail is pretty good. I mean, it's not going to get a huge detail score because, you know, reasonably speaking, it's not that detailed. But I think where value is concerned, you really can't complain at all. So, let's get this down onto the track and we will see how well she runs. So there she is then, the Class 73 by Hornby down onto the track. I'll talk about performance in just a second, but first of all, here's what she's hauling. Obviously no traction tyres on this model, so I've not given her too many coaches, but there are 5 of the chocolate and cream coaches there. Also Lima, incidentally. Okay, so performance-wise, let's talk about everything performance-wise. First of all, couplings. Unfortunately, these do not have NEM couplings on them. Now, the later Railroad version, the most up-to-date version of this, may well do. I don't have it, so I don't know for sure. But it's certainly possible. If anybody, again, knows, do let me know. Other than that, this does not have the ring-filled motor inside it like it once did. I believe it now has the CAN motor mechanism, which is much, much more smooth, I think. And it may even be 5-pole, but I haven't had this one apart to check that. But it certainly is relatively smooth. So with that in mind, let's give this a little try. As I say, this does only have 2 driven axles, so there's not an awful lot of power behind this, but it does get points for not having a traction tyre. So that is about as slow as I can get her to run. Obviously it is pretty slow, but it's not terribly smooth at that speed, but I think that's got to be a 4 out of 5 on slow speed at the least. And as you can hear, it's also not very loud. And at the higher speeds it becomes very, very smooth indeed, as you can see. I mean, that is very smooth. So generally quite a good performer. I would be interested to see though whether she can manage all 5 coaches. So let's couple her up now and see whether she can. Alright. Nice and steadily does it. Okay, let's get her going then. Let's see if she can haul these. Now, we're having a bit of a diesel gala today. I'm going to be running 2 more diesels on the other tracks. But then on top of that, there are 10 diesels in all of the different sidings. So see if you can spot all 10. And if you want to, in the comments, let me know which they were. On the inside line, though, as promised earlier on, we have another Class 73, but this is a Lima version, and it is in the Pullman livery, as you can see. So still a really, really lovely model, just very, very different looking in the Pullman livery. And she, of course, has got the Pullman coaches. I mean, what else? So I think they look pretty nice with her. And then finally, on the inside line, sticking with the Hornby X Lima theme, we have the Warship in the lovely BR green here, and she has got some Western region coaches. So enjoy the running session, and don't forget to let me know in the comments which other diesels you can spot. So I'm waiting here on Gordon's Hill to see how the Hornby Class 73 can manage to get up there, but first of all came the Pullman version. So there she is, and now coming around the curve we have the BR green version, so let's see. I think it's going to be a near miss. Right, she's slowed right down, so there must be a lot of wheel slip happening, but incredibly she seems to have just about gotten away with that. So on my layout it looks as though 5 coaches are about the limit. To be perfectly honest though, I don't think that's terrible, is it? Of course there are many, many better pullers out there, but that is not terrible. It's not terrible, and I'm glad it's not got tyres. That's one thing that doesn't have to be maintained, which is a big thumbs up. Ooh, goodness me, look at that. A lot of wheel slip, but at a reasonably high speed anyway, she does manage it, so that is good. There's the Hornby Warship then, again an X Lima model, which has been updated to have the CAN motor mechanism put into it, I think. Runs very, very nicely, that one does. Yes, very pleased with that. And doesn't that Pullman livery look fantastic? I wonder if Hornby have done the Pullman version. That'd be awesome to see in the railroad range, wouldn't it? So here are my ratings then for the Hornby Class 73. First of all, detail 3 out of 5. Yes, actually, considering how much the model cost, the detail really is quite impressive. So I've given it a middle of the road there. Clearly it's not absolutely incredibly good, but it is pretty good for the money. Power then, I've only given this a 3 out of 5 because obviously there aren't any traction tyres. Now that is not a criticism, I'm really glad not to see traction tyres, but obviously because she only does have 4 driving wheels, 2 driven axles, there isn't an awful lot of power to spare there. So yeah, 3 out of 5 I think is fair. Slow speed though is a little bit better. Obviously it can't do those massively smooth, really slow crawls, but it is pretty good, again, for the money, so I've given it 4 out of 5 there. Quality though, the whole thing is so sturdy. I mean, the motor runs just perfectly, the mechanism always has. The detail, as I say, is relatively minimal. There's not too much there that's separately fitted, so it's relatively sturdy there too. So I've given it 5 out of 5. Really quite good quality, this one. Value then, obviously for £59 at Hatton's, this is very good. I think the RRP is a little bit more, £70.99, but to be fair, anything less than £100 for a decent model these days has to be good, and because this is considerably less, I have given it 5 out of 5 there. Perhaps a little bit generous. Let me know in the poll, do you think that is fair or not? I think it is fair, obviously, but yeah, you guys let me know. Overall then, that is 8.05 out of 10, a very fair score for this, I think, and into the ranking she goes. There we go, at number 14, just above Mavis and below the Hornby J83. Whoa. The warship came a bit close in that shot, crikey. Still a good runner though, even though she has got the Lehman mechanism, the Pullman version that is. Okay then folks, well that is going to about do it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this. I do like finding bargains, and I think for £59 or £40, this really is a bargain. So hope you enjoyed that folks. Thank you very much for watching. Please feel free to leave the video a comment and a like if you feel you'd like to. But for now, thanks for watching folks, and I will see you all very soon. Cheers everybody.